So we've got data, and you know what we could do? We can click on the app checker, the stethoscope. We got 141 issues. So name isn't valid. Let's go look at that. Okay, do you see this little red dot over here on the right? And I'm going to increase the visibility here so it's easier for you guys to see. See this little red dot where my cursor's at right here on the right side? Click on it. Boom. VAR application link. All right, so let's go look at that. And I think we have replaced that with FX application URL. Yeah. Now let's go look at that in the app formulas. Do a Control F. I'll paste that in there. All right. And let's just keep going until we actually find it. Oh, okay. Let's get the real URL for the users. So I'm going to go here. And we've got we're naming the application Track a Ticket 2.0. And what you want to do is, let's see what share gives us. Let's click on share. Okay, here's the link. I'm going to copy that link. And I want to go back into the project. Okay, and I am going to replace this. Okay. Because we're going to need that. And we'll need to do some deep linking in this session. So we're going to be doing some Power Automate flows to automate and to integrate the email portion with this ticketing system. And we're also going to do the deep linking as well. So no one let me forget. All right. And I'm keeping an eye on chat. You guys are fairly quiet today, but I'll just keep moving along here. Now, I want to make sure that VAR application link, is it anywhere else? Okay. Here it is. We need FX application URL. Okay, so now we're good. We're not going to find that variable anywhere else. And I think what we need to do, guys, I think when I first started this, I would create all global variables with VAR. And the recommended best practice by Microsoft is to prefix them, not with VAR, but GBL for global. All right, so I'm going to say current user data. Let's go look at that. There it is. And we drill into this. And let's see how this is used. Wow, this is really messed up, huh? Current user data. I want to hover over the red square. Guys, if you ever have an error and you want to send me a screenshot of your error, just seeing, sometimes I can figure out just by looking here. It's like, oh, you need a comma right there. But hover over the red squiggly, and this is probably the most useful information. The specified column photo does not exist. Okay. I think when I brought it over to this tenant that I created it a little differently. So let's go into the users and we will get this thing set up properly. Now, what I called photos, and I wouldn't display it here. Let's go into the list settings. All right. So we've got photo base 64. That's what it is. And there it is. Now, is it happy? It looks happy. Okay. And I thought, yeah, this current user data. Let's see what's going on with that over here in the search. Let's just go see what this says in here. User data, ID. Okay, I see what is going on here. So what we do at the get-go, the beginning of the application loading up, is we go get the user's record from the user's table. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say fx, current user data, and current user. Now, I'm going to pull this guy out. You can drag code. Did you know that? Tenant domain. Okay. Now, what happens with, this guy is spelled right. If you guys are searching around, please notice that when you're here in the tree view and you paste something like, oh, it's not anywhere. Well, you also, we take that out. And you might be over here in variables and do a search. Okay. I should be able to find it here. And if you want to search project wide, make sure you go down to this little search, type it in there, and you get I feel like a lot more useful stuff than what we had over there on the variable tab. So we do have a button that says create a current user. Okay. Well, let's look at the code in this. And there it is. So I'm going to okay. So probably what I should do, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to say VAR, current user data. Do a Windows V. VAR. Where's the VAR at? There it is, right there. I'll hit enter. Sometimes you have to hit this little refresh button. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to replace, and I'm going to give it the GBL that we just saw. And I'm going to save before I replace all, because I'm replacing 26 values. And let's see. Oh my goodness. One second, guys. I need to move a window over to a screen that's going to help me out. Okay. Okay. So if you're going to replace a lot of things here, sometimes it doesn't have the right effect, or it replaces more things than what you wanted. So always do a save. You create like a little restore point. Have you ever saved your progress in a game and right before something that you'll probably die on, and then you always go back to that restore point? Well, you have the same thing within Power Apps. And if you don't know about it, let me know. Maybe I should create a video about that. All right. So we've got that taken care of. Let's see if we have any more VARs. All right, we got a spinner graphic. And copy controls. Well, the very least we could do, let's go over there. All right, I'm going to minimize some things so I can find this thing easier. Right here. Copy controls from here. All right, so we got some errors here as well. Let's look at this guy. FX theme. Okay. Now, it contains PowerFX resolved object. Okay. Well, let's go look at the status of this over here in app formulas. I'll do a search for it. Here it is. All right, so we have a global temp theme. If that's blank, then we use this. Okay. Is this thing populated? This key. It's not helping me out down here like it normally does, but okay. I think what's going on is it's confused about the types. So if I go in here, it's not call themes. Now it's FX themes. Ah, there we go. Now we're fixing some stuff. FX themes. There we go. Let's look at this one. Huh. That almost looks like a global there. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we can't do that. But we have that global. GBL. I'm going to go back over to formulas and we'll go do a search for this. Yeah, I guess the first order of operations of what we're going to do. We need to fix a lot of these errors before we can get to the other fun parts. So okay, this is a temp theme. So what I'm going to do, and what is this? var new color palette. Copy controls from here on select. Mm-hmm. Okay. What I will do, I almost don't want to use a global color palette. So we define that here. All right, just for now, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to replace every time it sees it. It's going to new color palette. I almost want to call it temporary. But I'm going to hit save. We have 5 replacements. And they're all changed as soon as this thing gets done here. And I'll hit save. I like my restore points. All right. Now let's go look at these guys. Nav items. FX menu items. That's the new name for it. So what I should do, I'll copy that. I'll undo it. Copy that. Paste that there. Hit refresh. And we got 3 of them. Windows V. Menu items. Let's save, replace 3. You guys see how many bugs you could create if you don't have your variables set up right, or a misspelling or something? Yeah, my camera. Okay, let's go over to our stethoscope here. And it looks like a lot of these var is app admin. Well, what I'm going to do is say fx. Well, first of all, I need to copy that and then say fx is app admin. That should take care of that. I'm going to go over here. That we got 3 to replace. And wait for it to be done with the saving. Jeebus. Okay. This item.image. Now, what I'm thinking here, I need to find out. So this is an image control. Let's see what type of thing we have here. Base 64. No. We want to find anything that says something like photo. Ooh. So we must be using a document library here. Thumbnail. Let's say medium. Okay. And I see some red things in here. Global constant, show level, department only. So this needs to be a number. Let's go look and see where else this is at. Request rework. What about it as a definition? Well, it isn't being defined anywhere. Now, what I believe I've got a data source called show levels. Okay, and you can see here we got values. Let's put an ID in there. Is active, sort order, when it was last modified, and that should be good. There we go. And what I'm going to do is double click on this, make sure this is on my clipboard. Go back in here. And we need to handle this in the formulas. So I'm going to say fx. I'm going to see if there's any type of show levels in here. There it is. Ooh, it's right here. Very nice. That's what I needed. I'm glad I looked for it before I did that all over again. But I'm not sure if that's really what I wanted to do. Yeah, I think I'm going to use the table. So I'm going to do a block comment. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is Windows V. There is the SharePoint site, but we probably should do a sort. Oh my goodness. There we go. Based on the sort order. All right, so we got that going for us. And I'm going to put a semicolon there. And before we sort it, we need to filter it. Now, why would we need to filter this? Because I just saw there's a field called is active, and we don't want to pull back any items that are no longer active. So all three of them are, so that's good. But is active. Now the second parameter to the filter function expects a Boolean. A lot of people will say equals true. Well, you're just tacking on another operation. So it's actually more efficient just to use this Boolean value to return those values. And is there anything else I would want to know or filter by? I don't think so. Okay. So now we got this show levels. And this is weird that I would create something that long. You know, I actually like this, so I don't have to hard code anything in here. And I'll say fx show level constants. Yeah, I need an equal sign there. And the common way to do this is to have the curly brace right there. Very good. Now, I think this is what we are looking for. Now, what I could have done is done a search like that. Okay, so this is going to be better. I don't want any hard-coded values. All right. Now, instead of having these numbers here, we're going to go do a lookup on fx show levels. And this is like the second parameter of the filter, where we need to say ID equals 1. I mean, it's still, it's the 1 is still there, but you have to have something to refer to. And we need to look up. But I still like this better. Now, when you do a lookup, this thing will be referenced. It'll be stored in memory. So it shouldn't have to go back to the SharePoint site. Now, we do need a comma. Paste. 2. Get that comma out of there. 3. And you know what? We definitely need we need the ID to be returned. Ooh, this is actually really interesting. We'll return the whole records from this, and then we could access those. Oh, that's great. I sort of like that. I might call that a design pattern. Now, it's not one of the 22 or 24 design patterns that the book has been written about, the design patterns, but because this is PowerFX. This is Canvas Power Apps. So I'm going to use that here, and I'm going to say viewable by all dot ID. There we go. me only dot ID. Paste that. Nope. Actually, that is right. Okay, show level constants and department only. All right, it's looking better. And by the way, guys, you can get, when I finish today with this MS app file, it will be uploaded to the WAP course for this. So if you're not a insider group member, you probably would want to click on the link in the video description and click on that to get access. Now, the Insiders group includes a lot more than just this whole ticketing system course files. It includes all kinds of training and goodies in there. So you might want to take a look at that, look at all the features and benefits of being an insider member. But for now, I'm going to get back to this here. Okay, so we got department only. This is interesting, these colors. I feel like we should need a color for these three things. The question is, do we already have one? I don't see it. So I'm going to say probably text. I can't imagine using anything else. Okay. Color hex. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to edit in grid view. And let's get the first one here. We have department only. Okay. Then we got color.maroon. So there is a little thing that you can do here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert some text. I think a input text input would be probably be best. Okay. And what we're going to do here is, if you ever want to look inside, what's inside a variable or a table, a record, whatever, use the JSON function. Now, this doesn't read JSON. If you already have JSON, you probably want to use parse JSON. And I'm going to say color dot maroon. There we go. And what I'm going to say here is, let's just see what comes back here. Okay, there we go. There is the maroon color, and we don't want the last two Fs. We just want this. Now, the last two Fs are the transparency or the opaqueness. All right, we'll go over here. And which one is that for? Oh, the maroon one. Me only. There we go. Now the viewable by all. Oh. Okay, so this is going to be something that we'll need the JSON for as well. Okay, I'm going to go back to the home screen. And let's put this in here. And we'll get the hexadecimal for that. Copy. I need to put that in the SharePoint. There we go. So we have color hex there. Now what we should do, if you change the schema of a SharePoint list, Power Apps doesn't know about it. So you got to go in here, show levels, and refresh that guy. Okay. Now we'll go back into this code. And FX show levels. There we go. And that is department only. Show level ID. So we need to say ID here. Okay. And we got me only dot ID. And this is viewable by all. Dot ID. Okay. Now this is a switch, and this is in a gallery, I believe. It looks like a label. You see that at the bottom? But we'll find out here in a moment. Now, what we want to do is use this instead. The constants department only dot hex. There we go. And it's not really liking what it's getting here. We need, you know what we need to do? Let's go over to this thing and let's add a column. Okay. So let's indent that over. The name of the new column will be color value. And what we'll do is we'll use this color hex and say color value. Okay, I think that will work. And then when we get over here, color value. There we go. Okay. I sort of want to indent. I don't like code that goes out over here. I want to be able to see it all in one shot. And of course, this, it being a switch, how switch works, it looks at this value and it compares it to this. And if they match, then it returns this. And if not, it goes, you know, here compares this to that. And if it does, it returns that. So as you can see, why I sort of indented it over, because this has to do with this. Okay. Request images. I'm going to go to the site contents. Do I have request images? I do. What's in here? A Word document. All right, let's delete that. So this guy is going to create a new. Now we're going to need a flow for this. Because we're using a document library this time, see this edit ticket screenshot. And this thing that I do for really small files is really not the best for other things that are medium size or large, because it can create a performance hit. So much more so than just looking up something here. Okay, looks like we're going to begin our Power Automate flows here. And okay, I'm going to get set up over here. And we're going to create a new flow. I don't want to template. I sort of want to just start from scratch. And this will... Okay, I guess I just want to create a blank ticket. Build your own from blank. Okay. And I'll skip this. Of course, it's going to give it a weird name. And look at this, we're in the new designer. Okay. Here's the trigger. What do we got here? Ooh. Now I want to show you guys my, I guess I'm going to duplicate this. And let's see. Let me see if I can do something here. Edit event. And I don't see the normal settings I have. Sharing links from here. So when I use Restream before, I could send links out to people if they wanted to be on here. And I do have somebody that is having a lot of issues with errors. Setting embed settings. I don't think, because I'm doing this through Streamlabs, I guess I can't do that. I can't invite him. And I was actually going to meet with him at, that's tomorrow, not today. Okay, so that makes me feel better. I don't like to stand people up. And let's see here. Now I had... Second, guys. There we go. Everything's looking good there. Okay. All right. Back to this. Okay, so I learned this from working with SQL Server. And when you create database objects, especially views, almost every place that I went to, they had a naming convention. And they wanted all lowercase, and they wanted underscores. And what this allowed me to do is, let's say I have 100 flows here. PA, and this holds true with working with database administrators and their standards or their requirements, however you want to put that, was to have this format, and each thing in there meant something. Okay, so any flow that has a prefix of PA, that tells me that has to do with Power Apps or is invoked by Power Apps. And as you can imagine the second one is SharePoint, because all of these things have to do with SharePoint. And if I want to create, this is the action on the end, because you see I've got a list create and also list get. So get all the lists from a site. Okay, so we're going to create a site, create a field, get all the fields, get all the sites. And that's been working out well for me. All right, so this is going to be, if I can get rid of the waffle stuff, I'm going to say Power Apps underscore SharePoint and doclib, short for document library. And now you can't see it very well here, but okay. And what we're going to do is upload. All right, I like that. Now it's going to allow me to save this. Nope. I need at least one trigger. Okay. So let's go do a search for Power Apps. When a Power App calls a flow. All right, here we go. Okay. And the parameters being passed in, I'm sure we're going to need some arguments or parameters passed in from this. And so what we need, yeah, we're going to use this file. Okay, so it says file content. I don't like spaces in arguments. So I'm going to say file contents, file binary. I think I like that better. Please select file or image. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Now, we might add some more things here. I mean, if you think about it, I'd almost like to make this really flexible. I can use it in all my apps, all my SharePoint sites and lists and whatever. So I'm going to add something in here. And we'll call this SharePoint URL. So we'll have that. We'll add another thing here, and we'll say doc lib URL. So these are request images. These are images, like let's say somebody's trying to provide their screenshots of what's going on and what's causing them a problem, or they take a photo on their phone and they're trying to attach it to the ticket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at all of the other fields that we have here and look at this. SharePoint's trying to keep things simple. I need the full settings. All right, so we got title, description, long description. That's funny. Request ID. Now that might be some stuff that I would add. So let's this is what we provide. Okay, so let's say file name. Yeah, let's bring that in. File name. And then I'm going to say associated ID or key. And I don't want to make it a number because what happens if like the associated ID is actually a GUID? Or what if the key is like a string that will never change? So we'll do that and file name. Now, what is it that a normal document library will have and what it won't have? So what I want to see here, I want to see that ID. And my toddler is throwing a fit outside my door. Oh, we have modified by. Okay. I'm looking for something like description. Okay, here's a title. All right, so we got that. And you know what I want to do is I want this to work with any document library. So I can't like, look, there's a description. Fantastic. We can find out how many times somebody has liked that document. A label setting? Okay, that's where I don't know what that stuff is. Now to confirm this, guys, if you give me one moment, I'm going to ask for my wife's help. Sorry. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. And what I wanted to do is test this out. Let's say we create a document library. And I'm going to say stock. Create that. And what do we have? We have a title and a description. So we can use that. I like it. Now the content type might, I wonder if we can modify that. Apply. There we go. If I say new Word document. So I've done that and it looks like it saved it. Okay. And as you can see, it doesn't automatically update any of this, the title and the description, as you can see. And we probably want to leave we've got the name of the file coming in, being passed in from Power Apps into the flow. And, content type. Can I go in here It's read-only. There you go. And can I change that? Nope, it's read-only. That makes sense. um, Now on title, I might take the user's name. I don't know. I guess we could just pass that in and don't have to worry about it right now. Okay, let's add a title. And what we'll use this associated ID or a key. For if I go into site contents and we have a ticket, you know, it might be best showing you guys the ERD diagram. Let me see here. This guy. And I got to tell you, guys, I found a better tool than Draw SQL. Are you guys ready for this? It's drawdb.app. Now, do you see how much nicer that is? And you got a lot more control. Where I like the simplicity of Draw SQL. Now I'm going to do a search here. If I guess there's no search feature. What I like to do is scroll all the way to the bottom and then go back up, do a Control F, and I'll say ticket. My ticketing system. There we go. So this looks nice. It's simple, whatever, but I think this looks better. Now, you might ask yourself, well, how much does this cost? You know, because this guy, the Pro Edition, you can have versions. Let me see what Upgrade says. I want to look at their pricing so we can compare this. Okay, we're looking at $19 a month. And I did that so I could export to JSON. That's what I needed. And there's only so many. I mean, you might have more than 50 database tables, right? You might want to have like all your diagrams to be private. Okay, so that's a good thing to know. So how does this compare in pricing? So I don't see any pricing stuff here. See, no, I didn't want to go there. Draw.io is another one that I use, but mostly for other types of diagrams besides ERs. If I want to do a flow chart or something, that would be great. And I'm going to say Google. It's free. Now, there's a reason why you cannot find the pricing, and that is because it's completely free and it's open source. How cool is that? I'm going to put the link to this into the chat. Hopefully everybody can get it. Okay. But the whole diagram is still in here. Now I wonder, because I've paid for this, if I export it, we might need to go to JSON, But let's go back over to their website. Whenever you look at a source code repository like this, guys, go over to drawdb./-io. Man, my brain isn't working very well. Yeah, look at all this. So what I do is I always typically go to repositories, and they could have like 20 repositories out here. Well, I want to see, boom, a simple server to handle submissions via email for DrawDB. Okay. Try it for yourself. Okay. Now, what happens if I were to, let's do a new one. From blank, I think is what we're going to have to do. Generic diagrams can be exported to any SQL flavor, but support few data types. I hope one of those few data types is JSON. Okay. Import a diagram. JSON are supported. So this is fantastic. I'm going to click on. Now, we could have exported as SQL Server, but you know what I'd like to do is actually use other types than just SQL Server, like we can over here. So this new open source, not only is it better, you don't have to pay for it, but let's see, there's the JSON. I'm going to click open. I'm probably going to have to. Oh, by the way, I created a repository for this ticketing system. So there is the JSON values. Now, I need to say, show me that. And then I'm going to drag this over. Oh, come on. Properties for a diagram. Well, that's not cool. We got a DB file. Oh, yeah, like I just said, I could, let's close down some of this stuff we don't need. Let's do SQL Server. That will be just as good. I just like the portability of JSON. All right, I'm going to move that up there, and I'm going to say I want both of those files in the same directory. And now this is a SQL file and has an extension of SQL. Let's see how it does here. Now let's try it again. Okay. Wow, okay. I think what I need to do, I don't know this tool as well as I know the other one. Import from SQL. There we go. SQL Server. Hopefully that will work. Well, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but that would be cool if I was able to import it like that. Okay, so what table were we going to change? Get out of that, and I don't need that. And for now, I'm not doing that. So okay, associated ID or key. So I'm looking for an example where I actually used a key instead of an ID. I'm not seeing it, but you would take that and compare it against the ID. And everything in SharePoint has an ID. All right. Get rid of that. We need to finish up our flow, of course. And, document libraries can have folders. Folder name. Folder. Say folder path. There we go. And I think this is good enough for now. Hopefully, we can always add more. But looks good to me. I'm going to hit save. Oh, man. I wish they would just let me save it. Because if my session expired right now, I would have lost all this work. Which is more important, All right. So I'm going to say, let's say create file. And I might need a space in there. Create a file. Create a sharing link for a file or folder. We might return this back before and return it back to the Power Apps application. So I'll go in there. And let's see. All right. Here we are. The site address. We need to enter a custom value. Ugh. Enter custom. Why is it on the left side? Okay. Hopefully now I can save it. Nope. I don't think it will. I want to go back to the classic designer. Is it going to really? I don't know. Because that's let me see if I can click on it here. Okay. So the site address. We'll put there. The folder path. Where is this? Oh, see more. Gee whiz. I don't know. Maybe am I blind to this? What? I thought, yeah, folder path. All right. Now the name. Okay, so now it goes over here. That's nice. And we're going to go with file name. And finally, we have file content. There we go. Now, hopefully, it's going to allow me to save it. Okay. Now, oh my goodness. Let's do what we said we were going to do here. So if I said create file, let's get a sharing link. Oh, we have to do all this again? Okay. So the site address. Library name is going to be dynamic. So the library name. It'd be nice if we could just grab it from this because that is not passed in. Library name. Huh. The name of the file folder. Library name. Well, I don't think I see it there. So I'm going to try to save this. I'm sure it's not going to allow me to, whatever. And what we'll say is name doc lib name. Okay, so we have that there. We have that going for us, which is nice. And we'll go over here and we will look at all these. There's the name. Here's the ID. And I think there's a value that can be used to get or update file properties. Okay, there we go. The link type, view and edit, view only. Well, I'm thinking like, what if they don't have the permission to edit? You know, is it going to throw a fit or just allow them to view it? So I'm going to take my chances with that. Link scope, anyone with a link, including anonymous. I'd probably say people in the org. Link expiration, no. All right, I'm going to hit save. Hopefully we can get rid of that nasty error. Okay. And we'll do Power Apps. Yeah, and we're going to respond. I sort of like to browse this stuff to see. Interesting. All right, this is the one we want. There we go. Now, what we need to do here is we say link to doc. And we're also going to say number, file ID, and we need to be putting things in here. Sharing link, boom, file ID. The unique ID. I think this is what we want. Because if we want to go look at, no, hold on. Yeah, that's fine. But what we did over here is we allowed us Power Apps people to pass in an associated ID or key. And I guess these are the only things. I think we're going to do fine for right now, as is. So we're going to respond with the link to the doc, the file ID, Is there anything else that you guys could think of that we want to return back to this? We might want to know the size of the file. There it is. I'm just going to create one more text, call it something weird, and then go in here and see if there's anything else that we might want to know in our Power Apps application. The file locator of the file or folder. Well, I'd be interested in what that is. File locator. And see if there's anything else. Now, what's great about this, even though when we created the file, we can't modify like the, you see we got a title and a description. And it's not going to, the flow will only allow us to set up these things. Look at that tracking, tracked properties. Uh-huh. Well, this is interesting. But I don't have a dynamic thing to do that, so maybe not. Wow, this is the code view of this flow. So what I was getting at here, we could respond. We're passing back the file ID, and then that Power Apps could patch this with this file ID, the ID and the description. So I think we're going to be fine with just that. I'm going to save. And now what we need to do is bring this flow in. And I hope it can see it. Nope. Now there is something that we could do if we go down to solutions and I type in here track a ticket. Go in there, add an existing automation cloud flow. There we go. Look at this little thing up here. Okay, there we go. So we got SharePoint track a ticket. Okay. Now I'm going to go back over here. I want to add a flow. Let's refresh. Look at that. It's right there. So that's a little trick if you can't get your Canvas app to see it. And, you know, guys, they give us a way to go in here. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. Power Automate and say add a flow, create a new flow. They have their own, we have our own flow creator, editor, but it's not as nice as just going over here in Power Automate and working with it there. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go find a blank screen and I'm going to duplicate it. And we'll call this file upload. Oh, it needs to have a screen on there. Best practice. And I really doubt anybody from Microsoft is watching my live stream, but if anybody is on the Power Apps team, could we have moved to top or just allow us to drag these things around? That would be awesome. I feel like we need one of two things. So we could go with upload. Media. Oh my goodness. Media. Add a picture. That's what I was looking for. All right. I want to have little buttons here. And let's set this up to maybe be, I don't know, 140, 160. There we go. Use this. Let's see if we can find an upload. There's download. And I might have passed it up, of course. Upload. It's fine. I feel like it should be on the bottom now that there's a up arrow. Okay, yeah, add a document. That wouldn't be a bad way to go. And then what we need is an attachment control. Now, do you guys know where to find an attachment control? We could have said forms. I don't like to do that though. So if you go to my repository and scroll down here, we got some really cool repositories. So I've created these two. Of course, this is from Microsoft. This is PowerCat. And I would think anybody who's doing Power Apps and stuff up on technology, they might be up for this course from Microsoft, Generative AI for Beginners. And I also put in the Power App samples. But what I need to get at are my snippets. So as I'm developing, I wanted a repository of all kinds of things that I can draw from, copy, paste. And I'm going to go look at controls. Connectors, there's controls. Look at all these controls we have. Well, the first one is attachment. Now I'm going to click in here. And I've got things set up in a way that are going to look really nice. And Power Apps YAML will not like that thing there. In fact, I wonder if I could delete that. Okay, that's fine. Boom. Now I can hit copy. Go over here, right click, paste, code. Now, doesn't that look nicer than the one that you'd get out of the form control? And it's using our styling. And I would have to say for these two guys, feels like we should have, click on border, or color, and then we will say app.theme. You know what? I don't want to do that. We need to use our FX theme dot primary dark. All right, so I'll make this around the same size. And I'm gonna this control is weird because it's not one control, it's actually two. And you know what would be nice? Get this, guys. Copy the code. So if you want one without the image, paste YAML. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's sort of like that. Okay. And let's just put a nice color on this. Now, if you say color dot white smoke, it's a nice light gray. But as you can see, we're messing with the font color. So we don't want to do that. We're going to say FX theme. And I'm looking for primary dark font. That's not what I wanted either. Let's use primary dark as, there we go. And what would we do for the fill? Now, I think a good color for that would be whatever we're using here. Okay, that should work fine. So that's the fill. Okay, I think we have this portion above and below because you can sort of see the image coming through. Now I'm going to make the border, if I make this a little bigger, yeah, it's being covered up a little bit here. So I'm going to say 3. See how that looks. It does not look good. Let me make this a little wider. And now it's over on that side. What else can I do for this? 4. Does that help it? It does. There's a little overlap there, but and we don't have to make it look so dark. We could use that instead. So it's not so annoying. And what I'm going to do, the font size, let's make that more like 17. Okay, I sort of like that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this just in case. Now this is called an add media. I usually do this within VS Code, but let's say, can I create a file? Let me bring up my my snippet repository. And we will go into controls. And we'll call this add media. So we'll click on that. We'll get rid of all this other stuff. Oh, did that? Yeah, I don't need that. I need this. Oh, that's just the. Yeah, guys. Sometimes I think I'm not the sharpest tool in the drawer. Here we go. Add media dot markdown. There we go. That's what I needed. And what we'll do here, we'll say add media. Tick, tick, tick. And we're going to paste the YAML in there. Does not like the trailing spaces. And up here, we should put power FX. Okay. There we go. I need to go over here. I need to commit this, sync the changes, and we should get the changes that I made up there in GitHub. There we go. And to show you guys this, let's refresh. See that? Still working. I guess we can go on and still work here. Okay, so the other thing that we might want to do, what is the width and the height? Let's make the width of these guys 300. And I don't even know if I'm going to use this add media thing here, but I'm going to center this. Copy and paste that. Okay. And we do have the attachment. We got that. We also do have camera. And I wonder if classic camera or all right, let's see. No, that's funny. Media camera. That's what I needed. Now I'm going to make this really small. Allow. Because get this, guys, if they're creating a ticket, they may not have a screenshot, but they can take a picture with their cell phone or something, and they might want to use that. And what I need to do here is let's add in a drop down. And why not use the modern one? So this will need to be on top here. And we'll want this to be 300. I feel like I should have made a screen that's got 3 tabs. Okay, so inside of this, for these items, camera, I guess we have to reference that. Okay. Available devices. That's essentially what we need there. And I'm just going to add name to that. Make sure it works. Yeah. Okay. Do you see this as camera 0? We should probably add the ID. Okay. Now it's not going to put the ID in there. All right, so I'm going to say DRP available cam sources. So for this camera here, what we'll do is do a coalesce. We got that DRP dot selected. Look at that. We got the ID. And if we don't get anything back from that, we'll just use 0. Okay. Now if I set this to my good camera, and okay, should be using that. Got stream. I don't use this control all that often, but I think it's a cool and useful thing. And let's say on select on the stream. Now, did we have to put stream rate? There's got to be something in here. We have a display mode. Okay, edit. Yeah, every control has that. On stream. Let me see if I can. I think I'm going to have to remove the camera from the Streamlabs, and hopefully it doesn't mess up that. Okay. Now I'm going to go to a different one. Let's say my integrated camera. Okay, it's looking at camera 1. Now there's actually a fairly good example of this in use. If you go to the training template, and I think I'm going to go look that up. No, I had the button right there. Okay. Pilots training. There we go. Well, it's getting things ready. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to camera. Yeah, it's got to be on here somewhere. Edits onslaught property. Yeah, I don't want to use a variable just yet. So he's using 0 there. There's one view. That doesn't change anything. I've worked with this before. It's not been a problem. I wonder if it's expecting a number. Anyway, I might have to come back to that. Now, there is such a thing as, allowing or disallowing here. Oh, no. I'll go back up here. I mean, yeah, it's allowed. Tracking prevention. Hey, Juan. Yeah, thank you. It's nice having you on here. So, stream rate. I don't know if that's going to help me out or not. Probably not. Visible on. And it should be displaying it. I hate to spend too much time on this. But, you know what I will do? I'm going to say camera control power apps. We'll find the official documentation. So it's suggesting that I use the image control, but I'm trying to get it just to show what the camera is seeing. Oh, on stream, okay. Snapping a picture every minute. Mm-hmm. If your mobile device is low on memory, might crash if you open the app that you use it. Really? Okay. Here we go. ID and name. The ID number to be used with the camera property. There you go. The numeric ID of the camera to use. Help otherwise more than one camera. Authorize it to use the add an image. Okay. I think I will add an image here. And I'm going to use the name of this control. Photo. But as you can imagine, the camera isn't set up properly. So that's what we're dealing with. Yeah. This might be... There's another field in here. It's this meta stuff. I don't think that that's going to help us out. I thought that it would have the meta now. Wondering why it didn't give me any IntelliSense there. Huh. That's interesting. Okay. I think I'm going to leave this till later, and once I figure it out, then on the next session we have on this application, well, we can go over that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is hide all this stuff. And I'm going to hide it by saying GBL show debugging. Boom. Okay, it's on. Yeah. And let's not. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm hold down Alt and do one of these things. Okay. And you know what? This control right here, its color should be a little bit more see-through, I believe. Maybe 50. How about that? Oh, yeah, I don't know why that's not working there. But so we have the file. And I'll say upload to doclib. There we go. Okay. It is now where we could say Power Apps. There we go. Run. Now what I do want to do, let's see, let's do update context. We need to capture what's returned by the flow. So say loc right. Now if you look at this, it's expecting 7. All right, if I hit comma, I don't want to hit comma now. I'll hit a comma there. It's not going to help me out. But it showed me there. No, parenthesis. There we go. So we got file, text, text one. Okay, so I want descriptions here. So it's cool. It's showing file binary. So what I'm going to do is go over here and get that image. .image. I would think that's all it needs for that. SharePoint URL. Okay. I believe that what we should do is have a reference here. FX SharePoint site URL. And we'll go over site contents. And maybe I was just looking at, no, it's this one right here. Request images. Copy that. That's the document library. I'll say fx quest images doc lib name. I'm going to double click on this. And I'm going to pull it down there. All right. And then this thing right here. To get the URL to the site, click on this little square here. Sometimes you got to click on it twice for it to get down to its shortest variation. So there we go. So we got those two things. SharePoint URL, doc lib URL. Now, did we need that? I don't think so. Not sure that we need that, but file name, okay. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a screenshot of this so I don't have to keep coming back in here. Okay, go back here. Okay. Trying to locate that guy. Okay, there we go. Got up in Snagit here. So we do need I think I might do something like this, like a fx upload flow parameters equals curly braces. Be much more manageable like this. Okay. Doc file name. And if we don't already have a file name we want to give it, what we could do here use this, and I'm going to say now. Yeah, let's use the text function on this. And we'll use that. I like to use year. Now this is going to be the file name, and I'm wondering, okay, that's not what I want. I want to go into this. And I've had problems with SharePoint list complaining about some weird characters in there. So I'm going to say new Word document, I guess. And it's synced. Don't need that anymore. Here it's there. Now the question is, can I change it? Edit in grid view. Okay. I'm going to say A underscore. We'll put a dash in there. I want to use one of those. And it doesn't have any problem with it. Okay. So I'll probably use dashes. Now, if I wanted a colon in there, will it? Nope, does not like colons. Exit grid, don't save my changes. So notice the colon did not make it in there. All right. Year, month, day, day. And now we do have, I thought we passed in like a file type, you know, name, folder path. Okay. So including all that stuff, we'll say file. That's the file name. Now, what doesn't it like about this? Can I not use string interpolation here? That's weird. Okay. That's fine. Oh, I need a comma there. And now I can imagine us uploading more than one file within a day. So we could say hour, minute. Nope, doesn't take colons. I'm going to put an extra dash there. Second, but okay. Doc file, no extension. Okay, we've got that. And what else? Binary file, the SharePoint URL. Doclib URL. Need a comma in there. Request images is the name. Oh, I need the URL. I'll use that. Okay. That's a long one. Huh. Yeah, that's fine. I hate it when code does that. You know how you can fix that? Just zoom out a little bit. Is that going to help me? Yeah, see, it all fits. All right. What else do we have? We have the associated ID. Okay. And I'm going to say, I'm going to use a quid. I just hope it doesn't give me FX new quid. Boom. Ooh, we got a typed quid. That's fantastic. All right, so we've got this. We got that. Now, if I go look at the documentation on this, I think the parameter that you pass in will take this string and return a GUID type with it in it. Text that contains the hexadecimal representation of a GUID. No string is supplied, a new one is created. Well, the name of the function is a new GUID, so I don't think we need that. Untyped. Interesting. Untyped object that represents a GUID. Untyped provider for JSON is expected to be a GUID represented. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Let's go back over here. And we do need the parentheses there. So guys, I'm doing this because these name formulas will typically just return the same thing because it uses caching. And we might get the same quid, which we definitely don't want. All right, so we got Q6R. Hi, Darren. Are you planning to add the date and time as a prefix to the file name, or are you completely replacing it? Yeah, I'm gonna use this to construct. Oh, you know what? This thing is going to always return. This will be cached as well. FX. So let me read your whole question here. You planning to add the date time as a prefix to the file name, or are you completely replacing it? So I just want to have full flexibility as a Power Apps developer, and it might be a case where they could put in like a little description, and then we could create a file name out of that. But if they don't provide anything, then we could just use this. And we could combine the two. Okay, so if I say file name default, and it's going to be text. And I'll have them pass. Yeah, I'll often pass that in. So say based on date time, and we'll say equals, and we're going to use the text function. And I'll put that there. There we go. So now I'm going to take that. We'll say now. Okay. All right. Now let's look at the other parameters. We've got file name, associated ID or key. That's what we're going to use that for. We have the binary will be wherever we're calling the flow from. We have that. SharePoint URL. A folder path. You know, what we could do is like, we could use the ticket ID or the subject line from the ticket and create a folder and put all the images in there. That would sort of be cool, wouldn't it? And it could be an optional thing, but so let's say folder name, say doclib folder name. And for now, we'll just call this default folder. There we go. And the doclib. Okay, that's all right. Okay, so now we've got something to help us construct all these parameters. Nope, still doesn't work. All right. Another parenthesis there. So this one is the SharePoint URL. So I'm going to use this. The SharePoint site URL is right there. Doclib URL. There we go. The file name. Now these are images. I wonder if that is like a JPEG. Something I'd like to add to this is a file type and I'm going to say GPG. But I'm also going to put a dot there. That'll help us out. All right. All right. Associated ID or key. Okay. The folder path. I don't know what's going on with these red squigglies here. Receive 6, expect 7. Okay. Doc lib name. Okay, here we go. Okay. I think for this image, what we need is, let me see here. Here we go. Look at this. Now I think we could just give it that. Ooh, doesn't like that. And we were using this image down here. And so we will say image. Doesn't like that, but get all of this. Right there. Invalid number of articles. Received 8, expect 7. Okay, take that guy out. There we go. Okay, I have an image already in there, so let's try this out. Well, that didn't take too long. And we'll go over here and let's do a refresh. I don't think that worked. Yep, we got an error, Houston. Wow. The server did not receive a response from the upstream server. Request tracking ID. Bad gateway. I mean, I'd love to get at all that error information. Yeah, won't give it to me. Let's see if we got my global error handling in here. I hope so. We have an error. Okay, I'm going to say color dot white smoke. That should be good. Looks like we have I need to create a function over here in, I think for right now, I'm just gonna, that would be a side sheet. I'm gonna say pound F5, 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 and maybe I'll do that later. Okay, no errors now. I'm going to click on the button again, and then all the error details will be emailed to me, which is very nice. And it looks like I need to update my payment method. Come on, where's my new ones? Okay, I'll keep an eye on that. Let's try it again. Now I wonder, of course that's going to be the same error. If I click on app on error, it didn't even notify me. And I see no red there. Now I'm curious if I were to add a button, and on the on select, I'll say 1 divided by 0. Computers really have a problem with dividing by 0. Chuck Norris can divide by 0. Let's see. Yeah, the only errors I have in my email box are about the Bookaroom that we did yesterday in the workshop. Okay, so Q says, you can just call me Q, by the way. I think you can use image.value or parse JSON function to get the image as a binary record. Okay. We're getting bad gateway. Okay, I wonder if we also have the error over here. I'm going to save. I'm going to get out of this. Okay. I'm sure it is. Maybe this will give us more information. All right, and Q says, just make sure that the parse JSON function includes the binary. That would make sense. And you suggested the flow runs will give us more information. Absolutely. Okay, it's root folder. The root folder is not found. Okay. I think it needs to have a slash. So let's go look at that. Oh, that's on air. Now, I don't know, maybe Q, you might know this, but do I do a / or a backslash? I think it's that one. The new designer can't be used for this flow yet. Okay. I was hoping this third run would have root folder not found. Well, maybe we actually need to add a new folder. Call it that. Default folder. Maybe that's what I needed to do. And then back out. I'm going to run. I'm going to click on that button. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that it runs fine. Oh. File failed. Root folder not found. Okay. I do know. Should be a / believe that's a forward slash. If I'm not mistaken, okay. Just make sure. Okay. I want to go to the flow. When it creates it, here's the folder path. Now check this out. If I click in here, click on the folder. I'm going to try that just to see what happens. And I'll go back here. I'll run it, hit the button again. Wah, wah. No cigar. Well, maybe I need the other. Now, didn't... Oh, really? There's... So the slash needs to be at the end of the file name, huh? Now, if I hit this... I'm going to do this. I'm going to select track a ticket. And I'm going to click on this folder. You see that? Boom. Here's request images. I'm going to go in there. And I should be able to use the root if I wanted to, I would imagine, but let's go ahead and do that. Oh, look at that. We need the name. So that's why we need the name of the doc lib, yeah, default folder. Okay, so I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to set that up as a default. So we were right on the forward slashes. That makes me feel a little better. And I want to not... I don't want to save. Let's see how it handles that. Okay. I'm going to use the parameter passed in, folder path, and then we should be good, I would imagine. Let's save, go back, go in here, and I'm going to run this. Click on that button. Nice. Hey, thanks for your help, Q, by the way. And what is... Okay, that's the icon. All right. I guess I'm going to go in there. Okay, we got a JPEG, but is it a JPEG? It is. So this is from the workshop yesterday. We were creating harmonious colors. I'll exit out of that. Okay. I feel good. We got that working. What was this button for? Oh, for dividing. And it doesn't seem like the on air is actually doing anything. Oh, you know why? Because I set it up to go to Power Apps errors. There we go. Oh, there's no records in there. All right, well, I'll have to look into that later. Okay, so we've got that working. And okay, I meant to create like a toggle here. And I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. I'm going to add in, let's use some containers. And let's use that fill color. Okay. You know what? I don't even want this to be visible right now. So I'm going to say GBL show debugging. And I'll put this, I think for now, I don't like it to be up there for the, when we're done, I want to probably move it around somewhere that makes more sense. This button, I'd by 0. And we'll make that, well, what's this? This guy's 180. Let's go with 170. There we go. I like it, Picasso. Cut and paste. All right. Now, I like what we did for the border here, so I'm going to use that guy as the border for the container. Oh. Border color. 2, maybe? And you've got to turn this on. Ooh, I don't want to get my spinners in there. This guy over here. I don't know if I really like having these buttons like that, but okay. I am going to copy that container and I'm going to paste it right there. And take these two guys out. Nope, didn't mean to click on it. Delete. Cut. Paste. Oh, gee whiz. This drives me a little nuts. I want to move my container. There we go, finally. All right. And And we need to standardize on the width of these containers. So this is 425. Let's just go with 400. Make this one 400. And maybe they'll be perfect squares. There we go. Now these buttons. I wonder if we have any padding constants in here yet. Huh. Constants? Oh, all right, so we don't have any of those, I guess. Thought I would have had that. Yeah, all right. FX app. I'm just gonna say constants equal a record. And we'll call this container heavy. And let's call this medium 20. Large will be 40. And then we need a small. SM. We'll use a 1. Q, I hope you stick around because I'm getting better at Power Automate gradually, but I'm not nearly as good with it as I am with Canvas apps. All right, so now we got constants, and I'm gonna click both of these guys and set up the X as, let's use the medium. Let's go with the large. I'll take that. It's the same thing there. And then for these buttons, Y, we'll have that. Okay. Now, if you look at this, I changed that. Nope. Drop target border. That's cool. You can drag the files over in there. I was looking for this guy. That's 2, and it's lighter 60. That's for the container. Primary dark. Okay. Three. Got 2 there. All right, I'm going to click on this and change this over to that. I'm also going to click on the font color. And say primary. Okay. You know what would be funny? For a sample image, Is it image? Yeah. Look at that handsome guy. Okay. Now, we need to talk about this. Because we just have to use rounded corners, right? They're all the rage. It's what all the kids are doing these days. So we got constants. Let's say border radius. And we should probably have 3 of them. Medium, I might say 8. Small, maybe 4. But we don't need it on the last one. And an LG. 15, maybe 12. Okay. So this is a container, and oh, there it is. Okay. Now what I'm going to say is fx constants dot. Let's go with that medium. Oh, that looks nice. Okay. Notice that it only changed one corner. So what we're going to have to do, we need to go to the one that it did change, which is radius top left. And we need to go around to all these guys and say self. Okay. Right. Okay. Now what we can do, this container, I'm going to call left upload. And this guy will call right upload. Very good. Okay. And what I'm going to do here for the border radius is I'm going to say CNT left upload, and I'm going to use the radius top left. Okay. And so we'll grab that. Now, why am I going through all this? Like, what does this give us by doing this weird stuff? So bottom left needs to be that. Radius bottom left. Oh, I'm already on there. Did I? Yeah, this is bottom. So it needs to be self dot bottom left. No, it's top left. Gee whiz. I'll take that, and after I'm done here, I'll explain why I did everything the way I did. Can you imagine if you wanted to change all these corners to a different value? You'd have to go at least to 8 places. But the way that I set it up, all I've got to do is go in here and give it another value. and say large. Now that looks a little ridiculous. But you see, I can just make the change in one spot. So you know what I could do? This would be good. Throw that in here. Okay. We already have the X set up. Now the width, we'll take the parent width, and then we'll subtract self dot width. Yeah, that's a circular reference. Let's look at self dot x multiplied by 2. All right. So now we could use this for everything. That expression. Ooh. All right, I'm going to say button. I don't even think we need this use this thing. This button's going to look weird. Yeah, the thing doesn't do anything, so... All right, I'm at least going to cut it and paste it. And we'll set the width at 20. Just in case I change my mind. All right, so this guy, its y will be self.x. And for this fx, constants, and we're going to go with large. Now that's border radius. Okay. That says medium. I'm going to say large. Now, let's look at the y. I want to start off with the parent dot height minus self dot height minus self dot x. There we go. So that will be button upload file left. And as you can imagine, copy that, put it over here. There we go. And I feel like this background color would look better if we used color dot white smoke. Let's just go with white. There we go. Okay, so the width, we should just say, hey, whatever self dot width, because I want it to be a square. So now I'll change that up. Okay, we want to change this. Come on. It's Y plus its height. Really? What? What? Okay, there's... What is this? This thing up here. I don't know what just happened. Okay. Well, we did lose our button over here. Perhaps it's still in the container. It looks like it's still in the container. All right. Obviously, I wasn't quite done. Huh. The Y plus its height, which should be the same thing. See, it's negative. What's that value? Add media. Its Y is 40. Man, oh man. You know what? We'll say parent dot height. Then it will subtract that guy's height and the should be a subtraction. Really? That no, it's 40. 40. 40. I don't know what's going on with that thing, but obviously we can't rely on the Y for that control. Now we could look at the uploaded image. Image uploaded left. Imagine that. Now it works just fine. Copy all that. This container will not be a perfect square. It will still be a rectangle though. Parent dot height. Okay. It's wild to see what the difference between the add media and this image upload. That one of them is unreliable and weird. Okay. The height We got that. We need to be adding instead of subtracting. And we're going to add the button upload height. And add the FX constants. And we're going to say padding medium. I think we went with the large. LG. Got the image. We could just rely on this thing. No, because its Y depends upon this thing's height, so that'd be a circular reference. So there's a large, but we also need to have in here a medium because the spacing between those two controls is a medium. That was weird. Let's look at this guy's Y. Parent.height, subtract that thing. Height, the Y. Add. Then we'll add self.height. Now I think we should use the FX constants and use a medium there. Okay. Very nice. So if you spend a lot of energy and make something perfect, what's great is that you could, use the same stuff. I'm wondering, do they add border radius to this yet? That'd be nice. How you can create one is get another container here. And I'm going to click on that. All right. Cut. There we go. And it is inside that. So here we want 0, 0 for X and Y. We want the width to be the same thing as the parent's width and the height to be the same thing as parent height. And then for this container, we got to say fx constants dot a medium. And so I'm going to select that. I'm going to go over to the left. We'll get that guy. We'll go over here. And now we'll get the fourth one. There. Pretty good. Now this X and Y, fx constants dot, I think we want the large there. Yeah. And then for the Y, we'll do that. And the width will be parent width minus self dot x times 2. There we go. I'm going to make the height. The thing about the height of this thing is we don't really... maybe they attach 20 things at once. Like, let her rip. I guess we could do that. But this thing right here should be self width. Okay. Now for this guy's, I'm going to use that guy's Y. I sort of want to center these guys, but I need to find out. Yeah. Okay. So app.activeScreen.width. And let's put in a little bit of padding so I can see it there. And let's make that a little bigger. So that's the width of the screen. Now we need to find out the width of this side nav bar. Comp side nav file upload. Okay, so we got that. And we will go there. And we're going to look at its width and its x, which is probably be 0 all the time, but let's throw it in there. Now that will give us the value of this area we have to play with. All right, so I got that label. Okay. Make sure all those happen together. And then let's divide that by 2. So that is the center line, the exact center. Okay. Now for this guy, let's use that. And we're going to go look at its x. So its x will be that. Okay. Yeah, that's just the middle. And now I need to subtract self.width. And there you go. Now let's try the same thing for this guy. Now we don't want it to be there. I think what we'll do is we'll add self width. Side nav bar. Okay, that's that. So for this guy, and there it's width. That should work. And we can sort of verify that by bringing over a rectangle. And we'll say 643. I'm glad I did that because this is wrong. All right. It's width. Width. Okay, this, cut that out and say centered X. Okay. I can use that. And then I want to add self Must be thinking about this wrong. I think that's exactly what I had before. I just used a width block. So I use that. And what I need to do, okay, let's subtract. No, we need to add the whole width. Okay, here we go. And divide that by 2. Nope. Oh, this is funny. Okay. What about app dot active screen dot width? And then we subtract centered X centered X. Now I want to take the centered X, subtract self dot width, and divide that by 2. All right. Nope. While I'm having a rough time here. So we subtract the width. So that's all the padding before and after. So then I think I should be able to say this plus that. You know what? I just realized this thing is not centered either. Because this is the middle. So maybe what I had before. Okay. So let's look at this X again. Because it's not right. Take that, we subtract that. And then we divide that by 2. I'm going to put it right there. File upload. Hide nav bar. Okay. Now if we subtract our width and then we divide that by 2. Oh man. We're going to have to add this. Wow, that still doesn't look right. It's important that I get this down because I'm going to, once it works, I'm going to put it into a user-defined function and never have to worry about it again. Okay. So I'm going to do another test here. And we are on this screen. Okay, so we've got a rectangle here. Look at that. That is not the center. Okay, I've been basing everything off that rectangle. And so that's very revealing. So I had 643 because that's what this said. Okay, so we've got the whole screen's width. And I'm just going to make sure, I'm going to click on the screen. And I'm going to use it instead. Minus the width of this thing and minus its x, which should be 0, and it is. Okay, so the whole width of the screen, and we minus this. That should give us this nice bar. So I'm going to put that up there so we can see what the width is. Rectangle, let's say adjusted width, adjusted screen width. Okay. And now I'm going to divide that by 2 for this guy's y. Okay. We need to Okay. Sometimes labels are better than rectangles because we can actually display text inside of it. And say X and that. Okay, so that's what the X is. This doesn't have to be so big. Okay. Ah. Flow or fill? Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, guys. My toddlers are stomping or throwing stuff on the floor in the room next to me. Startled me. Okay, there we go. Now on the width for this, I should be able to figure this out by saying file upload screen, its width, and I should just subtract self.x. There we go. All right. So now I don't need this guy anymore. And the y will be file upload screen height, but I need to subtract self.width. Oh, it needs to be height. There we go. Makes a big deal, huh? Big difference. All right, so something else I'm going to do in here. Oh. Don't need that anymore. Let's go with... All right. $12.86, which is exactly what this is. So when I deleted this, okay. Yeah, they would just used a number there. Okay. So this LBL adjusted screen width. We'll put a 1 in there just in case this is the thing. I guess that was a rectangle, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, so the width is already file upload screen width. Huh. So I took that amount. That shouldn't be right. We need to be using this. And then we need to subtract its width. Here we go. Now what I'll say in here, I should be able to use that. That should be 80. Okay. What? Why is it negative? Oh, I need to add these things together. Here we go. Now we had something else. Okay, I think that's good. I think I'd like to do one of these guys here, and we'll just say adjusted screen width colon, and I'm going to say self dot width. Make the height like maybe 30. Now I should be able to delete this guy. We just need to use this guy. Huh. LBL adjusted width. There we go. All right, so in order to center something in general, let's try this. Circle. I like this filled circle. All right. Oh, did you see what it did for me? I thought it was showing me exactly where the center, but that we don't want the center of the screen because it's offset by that. But if I want to center something, you take the parent dot width, you subtract self dot width, put those in parentheses and divide by 2, and it is perfectly centered. Now the problem here is that we've got this guy, and let's throw in a label here. I don't think it. There we go. What I want to do is take this guy and say and I'm going to call this LBL right side nav bar, which is this point right here. If you ever move it or change the width, this will dynamically adjust. So we got that. And then for this guy, we'll use this algorithm here. Now what I need to do with this is I want to subtract the text. We just got to wrap a val around it, or value, and then divide that by 2. And you see that? You see what it got us? Let's go in here and say fx theme dot primary dark. All right. And this label. Okay. Parent dot height, and then we will subtract, say 30, subtract self dot height. There we go. Now it's a little off. I wonder why. The X. And Q says you can also use containers to take. You're talking about responsive containers? Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I like a challenge. Yeah, we could have used. So the X of this, we took the parent, which is the screen, its width. We subtracted our width. You know what? I wonder if I took that, put it in here. It's giving us the same value. Oh, I see what's... Do you notice the left side of this color? It doesn't even go to these dots here. Okay. Will this live be available here on YouTube later on? Here's what I determined to make available on YouTube out of this ticketing system course is if a particular video performs very well, meaning there's thousands of views within a week, or 1,000 views within 4 or 5 days, then that's probably going to be a good performer. I'll probably leave that on, but if you want all of the videos, then you need to join the insiders group. So this is WAP here. And if you go into now these are the downloads. So this was version 1 that we'd finished off a year and a half ago, and this was the latest from 12.4. So I had this broken down: planning and design. Yeah, these first 4 videos. Now I think this thing just has you. Yeah, you start here. I didn't know I needed that image to be so big, but you got links to the diagram. Here's the Google Doc where we had put the requirements, and you see that we're here on the start here thing. Okay. So we had admin screens. So that was video 5 through 11. Now the main heart and soul of the main screen where you enter and edit a ticket was covered in here. And this is almost an extension of it, but we go on to extend that screen, adding a pop-up, putting notes in. This was a Q&A support, which was probably a Zoom call. Yeah, that looks like a Zoom call. And then we talked about hidden fields, the progress review, subforms. That was a good one. Phase 4 was, it had gotten to a point where there was a lot in on this screen, and we broke things down. We have closing a ticket. Now this was a live stream that went for 6 minutes. I had a technical issue and I had to go back. And then there's a bug fix that some people were having, so I went in there and made sure that was taken care of. Now the phase 5. Okay, here's the version 2, which started here in the end of November. Yeah, I started that when we offered the Black Friday special, and we started it back up. And the 5th phase where, okay, so you got a dashboard creation, workflow notifications, notify users, reoccurring relationships and improvements. And this is, I think it's the 38th, the one that we're on right now. So yeah, you'll find some of these videos out on YouTube if they perform well. If they don't perform well, I just make it a part of the class, And then BK, would Power Apps would be good for a resources app with large text documents, like an employee handbook or a quality manual? It could be. I don't know that. I think there are other things that might be a better tool that would require less effort than creating it in here. Something that you might want to look at is a Microsoft product called Microsoft Loop, and they're including it in certain licenses. So I've got an E5 license for each of my tenants, and you can add things. So we could create a new workspace, and then what I would do is I want to see a book. Okay, and we'll call this employee handbook. Sensitivity level? No, you want everybody to see it. I can't change anything here, but we can change this to something that looks more like an employee handbook. I don't know that any of these really do that, but I like simple things. Let's see what I like that. So you could have a AD or intra security group and put it there if you want. I'm going to hit continue. Well, it finally added it. And so you could do that. In a way, this is a little bit like OneNote, but it's more like Notion. And I would have no problem creating it in Power Apps, but I've got a lot of things to pull from, and I'd probably know exactly how to achieve it, That sounds like a cool project. Eventually, I want to get to the email portion where we, check the inbox and everything. So